He was great last night. Actually, last night's game looked like what I thought the series would look like. Remember, I said before the series, I said, I'll take the Warriors, but I think it's going to be a real dogfight. So I thought the Warriors would blow them out last night because of what I'd seen in the series. Denver couldn't get stops. But last night is what I thought the series would be, which is they're small. If Draymond gets in any foul trouble, you lose your best defender. And Jokic is just a size advantage. And last night you saw it. He was a handful.
He was. He had 30 points, 19 rebounds, and 8 assists. Had a couple of just unbelievable passes, which is what he always does. But I felt for Jokic last night because you could see it. Like, you can see when a player wants to win so badly and is so competitive and is so great and just doesn't have enough. Like, he doesn't have all his guys with him. And the Warriors are great again, and he just... you could see him pouring it out.
Yeah.
But the Warriors move on in 5. Steph was back in the starting lineup for the first time in the postseason, 30 points with 11 coming in the fourth quarter. And after missing the playoffs for the last 2 seasons, he spoke about how great it is to get this series win.
It means a lot. You don't ever take it for granted. You understand being on this stage. We understand we hopefully have a lot left to do, but getting to the playoffs and getting through a series and winning 4 games against a good team, like it's hard. Tonight was just a weird feeling because we hadn't been there in a while, and it was like we wanted it so bad. Kind of made it a lot more difficult on ourselves. So, but we still remember how to do it, which is a good feeling.
So the Warriors will now face the winner of Grizzlies Timberwolves. I think I would take the Warriors against either of the teams that come out of that series. They're back to their old selves. I mean, you saw last night. There was a moments where the Nuggets kind of started to put together a little bit of a lead.
Yep.
Nope. Just like that, they're right back in it. They've just done it so many times. They've been in that position so many times, and they have the 3-point shooters to erase a lead in a matter of a minute.
You're seeing this with Memphis and Minnesota. Both teams have had opportunities to win games, and it's a totally different sport. The playoffs get officiated differently. The playoffs have a unique pressure. By the way, everybody's equally rested. That's why you have to be careful about the regular season. When John Morant got hurt, and the Grizzlies went 18-2. First of all, they were playing a lot of bad teams. Those teams are not in the playoffs, okay? Secondly,
they're a young team. They're built for the regular season.
That's right.
To go on runs like that.
And then when you go into the postseason, it's like, oh, Ja really is valuable because you're playing the best players and best coaches and best defenses, and you need guys to just break through it with sheer athleticism. So, there's no NFL playoffs look a lot like the NFL regular season with more intensity. The NBA playoffs are officiated differently.
It's a totally different sport.
Totally different sport. It's just there is a coaches matter more. You shrink your rotation. You can't have liabilities on the floor, which you could do Tuesday night in the regular season. Stars don't take games off. Everybody plays.
Fouls, getting into foul trouble is incredibly important.
So it's when you look at Memphis, a great example of, God, they could win without Ja. And then you get to the playoffs, oh no. They go to him on every single possession against Minnesota late.
So the Jags are on the clock with the first pick in the draft tonight. Many believe their choice has been narrowed down to 2 defensive ends, but there may be some dissenting opinions within the organization. Owner Shad Khan is reportedly leaning towards Michigan's Aiden Hutchinson, but GM Trent Baalke is said to be infatuated with Georgia's Trayvon Walker. Elimination game 6s in the NBA as well, so maybe a double screen night in the Taylor household. Devin Booker has been out since game 2 against the Pelicans with a hamstring strain. He was given a 2 to 3 week recovery timeline, but he's reportedly progressing really well. He could make his return sooner. He could potentially play in game 6 tonight and be on a minutes restriction. The Suns have listed him as out for now, but that could be adjusted leading up to the game, and he could also make his return for game 7 if he doesn't return tonight, if the Suns lose tonight. So tonight you have Sixers, Raptors, and Fox Bet has Philly favored by 1.5. That series has become very interesting all of a sudden. I don't know if I'm taking Philly tonight, but Suns Pelicans, I do think Phoenix is going to win that game. They're also favored by 2.5 according to Fox Bet. Mavs Jazz, Dallas is favored by 1 according to Fox Bet. Donovan Mitchell said he's good to go for tonight's game. He's listed as probable. I think I would lean towards Dallas in that spot, especially with Donovan Mitchell banged up. Obviously, it's an elimination game, so he's going to try to come back. but he's not going to be 100%. So we could have an answer on all of these series tonight, depending on how they go. But out of all of these series, I'm really most impressed with the Pelicans. Going up against the best team in the league and being able to take it to a Game 6, and if they lose tonight, Game 7 in round 1 is really impressive.
I'm, the whole Doc Rivers thing with Philadelphia is interesting because everybody now is I laugh at all this stuff all the time. Like Frank Vogel got fired.
The 3-1 leads?
Yeah, the 3-1 lead thing. And it's like Frank Vogel won a championship in a bubble when every other old team failed. And he gave the Miami Heatles, the best team for about a 4-year period, fits with Roy Hibbert, crazy Lance Stevenson, and a young Paul George. And he gave them, you were there.
Yeah.
Those series were wild and intense. And he can't coach. Like, I'm supposed to believe Doc Rivers can't coach. I was like, folks, listen, Embiid's hurt. Harden's eroding fast.
Yeah, I mean, the series is taking a turn. I think Embiid is the MVP, but he's hurt again, and Harden is not the same player.
And Thibault can't play in Canada because he's not vaxxed, so their best defensive player is not available. So,
right.
It's like, folks, Doc can coach. Vogel can coach. These guys can coach. Steve Nash, Kevin Durant's like, he can coach. He's my guy. We're all
Coaching
experts.
is hard.
Yeah.
Coaches always fall on the sword because it's the easiest thing to move on from. It's the easiest thing to transition. And I do think that high-level coaching makes a massive difference. Like if you have some stars in their prime, you have a couple stars in their prime, and a good roster, you can overcome bad coaching in the NBA. I don't think you can do that in the NFL, but coaching matters, and you're seeing the teams that are moving on are good rosters, well-coached, good cultures, and I think that's what you're going to see throughout the rest of the playoffs. So the Warriors are heading to the second round. They had held off Nikola Jokic, who left his soul on that floor.
Oh, God, he was great last night. Actually, last night's game, and their number 2 scorer, and a big reason why they won the championship last year, he got hurt. And, my thought was, these games they're going to get close. I still like Milwaukee, I said, but they're going to be close games. I'll take Giannis to just sort of make plays late to win. Well, that's not what happened. Chris Middleton got hurt, and Giannis, easily the best player in the league, put the team on his shoulders, and they crushed Chicago in 3 straight games. At one point last night, they led by 29. Chicago's not a terrible team. It's so obvious now that Giannis is the best player. I'll put some stats up. I don't want to bore the radio audience, and these are, there's a lot of numbers here, and it'll overwhelm you. But there are some numbers in the postseason that are very LeBron James numbers. He's given you 29, 13.5, and 6 this postseason. No players ever reach those marks ever in the postseason. His plus minus better than anybody else. His number 2 player goes out. We saw what happened when Phoenix lost Devin Booker. They're in a fight. We see that Memphis with Ja Morant, they're in a fight. They lose Chris Middleton and crush Chicago. And they play Boston next. And Milwaukee has a size advantage. Boston's a very good defensive team. Now, we all think Jason Tatum is a great player. I think he's a top 7, 8 player in the league. Certainly one of the better young players. If they didn't have Jaylen Brown, their second best player, you give them virtually no chance to beat Milwaukee. No chance. Milwaukee's not going to have their second best player. Kind of even money. Celtics slight favorite. That's a testament to how great he is. We've spent a lot of time talking about KD this week. Giannis is better than KD's ever been. I hate to break it to you. KD was never the best player in this league. Now, he was on the best team and was finals MVP. I'm not disputing that. But he was never better than LeBron in his prime. And I never think there's a year where he's been better than LeBron. Giannis is significantly better than LeBron today. Not close. Not close. Better defensively, not close. Better closer late, not close. Now that he can shoot and handle the ball, you also get much less drama. He's a significantly better player than LeBron. KD was never better than LeBron. And so KD gets a lot of attention. He's calling himself God now. Wonderful. But right now, Giannis is a better player than Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant is trapped, and because Giannis did a deal that's more team-friendly and is easier to sort of work with and is not quite the emotional wanderer, Giannis is going to dominate, I would imagine, the East for years and years and years to come. Good luck with Ben Simmons and Kyrie, KD. But he is right now. He has become, for years and years. We talked about this, and I was skeptical. I'm like, he can't shoot outside of like 6 feet. Does he handle the ball enough? Can he facilitate like a LeBron? Yep. Can do all that. So congrats to Milwaukee. I don't know about Boston without Chris Middleton. I think it's a really close series. We'll watch the first couple of games and have a take on that. Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Big sports day.
Big sports day. It's the draft. The draft, big deal. Gets big ratings. Everybody watches. It's fun.